Good morning. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about our food bank. Our food bank, mainly during the pandemic. So our food bank is an amazing and alive entity of volunteers, of supporters, of clients in downtown Dartmouth, and I've been coordinating it since 2020, coinciding with the pandemic. We supply food for approximately, on a weekly basis, 70 to 80 people. Snowstorms less, hard times maybe up to 90, but 70 to 80 most weeks. We have 50 plus people that walk in. We have 20 plus deliveries, and often we have more deliveries, especially when there's lockdowns and people are at home with COVID. Doing this is about 20 volunteers. We had a lot of issues during the pandemic, and you never quite know how to deal with them. The truck can be stuck, the Feed Nova Scotia truck can be stuck in the snow, or people say, no, I don't need to wear a mask. Well, we're still essential services. We still have to feed them food. What do we do? So any given week, it's different every week, and we have managed to deal with it. Our clientele used to be, I think, a lot of single people and couples. Now we have found it's a lot of families, single parents, and very many single grandparents who are looking after the kids, either because the parents are working. We have some very hard-working grandmothers out there looking after 6 and 8 kids often. And sometimes there are many of the ones that we do deliver to on Wednesdays. So on a typical food bank week, it starts on Tuesday when the shut-in people call and leave their orders. And we have found the more detailed the orders, the better. So if they just say, oh, I'd like the same order as last week. I'm sorry, I can't remember what you ordered last week. I can't remember my own order. So we now have a system where they tell me exactly what they need, and then I tried to make drive routes so that our drivers, we have between 4 and 8 drivers, depending on circumstances. They will take the large IKEA bags or the banana boxes or a combination thereof directly to the clients, but they deliver it only to their building because obviously with COVID they're not allowed to go in. But we have to calculate the routes and the amount of food for the drivers so that they don't have too much to carry, because some of those boxes are huge. And so we now put it into smaller containers so that our seniors driving it are able to take it there. So that's on Tuesday. So Wednesday morning we start in the hall around 8, setting up the tables first for all the boxes. So we have 5 tables with, say, 5 boxes or banana bags in it, and they get filled with the orders. Then we are dependent on the Feed Nova Scotia truck to come very quickly so that we can put in the fresh food, the milk, the bread, and all of those things. And that's where we have problems when the truck doesn't come, and it happens. And then once the bags are filled, the drivers come. The drivers come punctually at 10. They're given a list of 4 to 5 people to deliver to. They take it away. And at the hall, there's still 10 volunteers. 10, 15 volunteers. And we then set up the table for the tables for Thursday. The way the hall works now is that we have, John has the pictures up there. The side of the hall towards North Street, they're all shelves, movable shelves. The first set of shelves and tables, the first set of shelves has all the non-perishable goods. And the clients are separated from the people giving out the food by the 6-foot-long tables so that we're completely COVID distanced. So there you can see that's the non-perishable table, and they're giving out, I think is that the vegetables? And then, so you go from the non-perishables, then you go to the next station, which are vegetables. We have a wonderful array now of vegetables and fruit, and Feed Nova Scotia has been very good. And our clients have been very interested in getting fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. And we are thinking of doing a program at church where with slow cookers, we're going to teach them, if they're interested, in how to use the vegetables so that they can make meals at home, which are easy for them to prepare, and we can provide them with the food. So they go from the vegetables, they go to the table with the frozen meat, bread, eggs, all that protein, and then they go to the rest of pet food and soap and whatever else there is that you need that we may have. All of this, of course, depends on what we have. We can only give out what we have, obviously. So that gets set up on Wednesday. Then Thursday morning, first thing, we get there about 7, quarter after 7. The clients, no matter what the weather, are already out there. They're out there, they're waiting. They want to be the first one in, and they want to get maybe the best sweatshirt or whatever it is, or maybe they may not have a place to go. So Thursday morning, they come in, they sit, we have chairs set up, if we're allowed to let them in. For the longest time, of course, we weren't allowed to let anybody in, and they just had to wait outside. If we can let them in, we let 10 people sit there, and they have to just look at all the food for however long it takes until it's their turn. So they can choose exactly which pasta sauce they'd like. So they're sitting there waiting for the food, and we try as quickly as possible to process one person. It takes about 7 minutes to process one person all the way through, from the non-perishables, vegetables, meats, the rest. And then they get to go along the windowsill where we have whatever has been donated that's useful in clothing or household items. They choose that, and then they're done. And I think it takes 7 to 10 minutes. So there's very little socialization. There used to be a lot of people talking to each other when we were able to have coffee. We can't do it. Now they're sitting at 6 feet apart waiting for their food. But I think it's worked very well. They socialize outside. They all seem quite content. When they're waiting inside, first thing on Thursday morning before 8, Reverend Bonnie and Kevin Little from the Public Good Society come and talk to them. Kevin talks to them about places to work, and if they have any concerns, Bonnie just talks to them so that they feel like they're connecting with somebody. Then they have to unfortunately walk home, because we used to have the Public Good bus to drive them home. Now we don't have that during COVID. During the pandemic, our relationship with Feed Nova Scotia has changed quite considerably. A lot of it has gone on Zoom, so we've benefited a lot from them doing workshops. We have benefited from them because they have gotten a lot more money than they used to have. So they are very generous in sharing that with us and sharing their information and sharing their people with us. They've given us workshops on food diversity, on volunteer management, on how other food banks try to solve the problems, try to solve the pandemic issues that we've all run into. The food bank also is very generous in the food which they deliver to us every week. And so at the end of the food bank, I email or phone them. There's 3 different people who supply our food. There's, again, the non-perishable, perishable, and frozen food. And they will tell me exactly what they have, and I will ask, this is what we need specifically, this is what we're short of. And so there's a very quick feedback. And so they'll call me if they have a lot of something. They say, Christine, do you need 1,000 pounds of potatoes? Sure, we can always use 1,000 pounds of potatoes. And also the increased funds from Feed Nova Scotia have meant that they have given us a new freezer and new shelving and things that we have applied for from the food bank. But particularly, they have given us a lot of thousands of dollars of gift cards from Sobeys or Superstore that either we can buy food with or we can give it to our clients, which has been essential, particularly when we had all the homeless. While we had the homeless, how are we going to feed the homeless with the food that we can provide? They can't open any cans, or they might be able to open the cans, but really that's not what they want to live on or what they can live on, or the frozen meat that we have a lot of, not for them. So the gift cards have been a great help in that concern. And so the food bank has really stepped up and has really changed for us. Our homeless just have, as I've said, have very different needs from our regular food bank clients. And we just can't do enough for them. We've had 4 of them here all of last summer. One gentleman who has been homeless now for years still lives down by one Alderney. And really the church is his main contact. And we have seen to it that he has cell phones and that he does have food which he can heat up in the library, but it's a really tough thing to see and to watch him go through the process. Now, we have wonderful volunteers. We have everybody contributes to our food bank in some fashion. People bring food, people bring egg cartons, people bring clothes. It's a wonderful thing. But we have a few really special volunteers that you never really see. We have people who call the office and say, oh, I'd like to take a family shopping for Christmas. So they take them shopping, buy everything that they need for Christmas. We have young families who collect, instead of birthday presents for the young kids, they collect the money. With the money, they go shopping with the kids for protein, and they deliver the protein to the food bank, and the kids sort of see the process of what has happened. And then we have a wonderful young woman here, Natasha Bury-Edwards, who for the last 2 years has collected money. No, I'm sorry, she hasn't collected money. She has collected food from Creighton Park for the 12 days of Christmas. And she has a very organized system. And then just before Christmas, to really fill our food bank, she comes and she brings us tables and tables and tables of food, $6,000 worth of food just for the food bank from the collection from this young woman, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we have all the volunteers who come every week, and they drive, they pick up bread, they do all of that. So you can see it's a well-greased machine. We have hiccups, sure, but it's because of the generations of women and men who have been providing food for a hungry downtown Dartmouth that it's so satisfying. We are making a difference. But we know that Christ Church has partnered with Feed Nova Scotia since 1984. So since 1984, we're having a food bank. And we are really not any closer to eradicating the hunger in downtown Dartmouth or anywhere. We're helping, we're doing something, but it's still a very, very sad situation. So I want to thank everybody on this Women in Ministry Sunday who has given and who is giving their time, their love, their care, and their energy to this enduring entity which we call Christ Church Food Bank. Thank you.